We're constantly pressured to do more, to feel less, to take care of it all, and to not fail. We have glorified perfectionism, and we have all fallen victims of having unrealistic expectations for ourselves and others, living life in a constant train of disappointment and seeking control. I am passionate about helping women decrease their mental drama, increase their self-awareness by implementing boundaries, mindfulness, and powerful mindset tools so that they can step into the most confident version of themselves as mothers, as wives, as professionals. I deeply believe that women fear success more than they do failure. And I am on a mission to help turn this around, one episode at a time. I am your host, Olga Lacroix, former therapist, life coach, mother, wife, and this is the Journey to Happy podcast. Welcome to episode 128 of the Journey to Happy podcast. Oh my God, when I read out the numbers, I always surprise myself. How have I had 128 things to say? But then it's me. I can talk. In this episode, we are talking about finding one word that defines how you want to feel in your life in 2022. Why do I choose one word? The importance of having a word that grounds you. I'm going to break it all down to you. I'm going to explain to you why I make all of my Becoming the CEO coaching clients and Reset Your Mindset clients find their word, get grounded, and how to use this word. You may have used or heard of people using this technique to get grounded at New Year's, but I really want to break it down to you and hopefully inspire you to find one word that you will use throughout the year. I'm Olga, your host, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for what we're going to be talking about here in the podcast today. And I am also about to tell you what kind of beginning of year I've had so far. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, which you really should, check me out at olgas.way. That's my Instagram handle. And I would love for you to follow me. So if you don't follow me, you should. And if you have followed me, then this is not news to you. You guys know that beginning of January, my husband had a pretty bad snowboarding accident. He went skiing with my family who was visiting and decided to impress them by doing a jump, to which he jumped too high, too fast, lost control, and landed really badly, breaking a few of his ribs, getting concussed pretty good, damaging a nerve that allows us to see properly. So he sees double, and the recovery has been steady but slow. He can't drive. So I've been having to drive him around, take him to doctor's appointment, to his work sites, because this is the kind of guy who doesn't just drive a couple of times a day. He drives every 5 minutes to a different place. And I've had to be there for him. And so that brings me to the subject of this episode. That is 2022 in one word. A very long time ago, I decided to start a tradition, which is fairly common. I see a lot of coaches getting their clients to doing the same. I didn't have a coach then. I don't know how I came up with it, but I liked it. I decided to start thinking of one word that would ground me. One word that would really symbolize the thing that I wanted the most for the year in all areas of my life. So I, like everybody else, always started the new year with resolutions. I'm going to practice more yoga. I'm going to learn French. I'm going to speak to strangers. Like I had random, new resolutions. And what I noticed throughout the year is that I would lose track of them. I kind of forgot about them. And it wouldn't take much actually before I completely forgot about what I said. And normally I would just work on one of the many resolutions that I would have created. Example, the year that I set to myself that I was going to speak to more strangers, that I was going to be more social, is the year I met my husband. So it paid off. And that was the thing that I worked throughout the year. Like, how can I meet more people? How can I be more open? Like most single people will probably think, where do I meet people? And I realized that maybe if I was more open to it, that if I brought to my awareness that I wanted to meet people, that would just be easier throughout the year to do. And so it worked out, right? I met my husband. I'm like, wow, this really works. So the next year I had a different word. And like that, I've rotated every year by looking for one word that really like, and I don't do this work lightly. I take my time. I sometimes take weeks. As the year is coming to an end, I start experiencing a lot of gratitude for what this year brought me, good or bad, lessons or wins. And then I start focusing on what's next. And I started thinking this past year of all the wonderful things that I experienced in 2021. And I started thinking of what I wanted for 2022, that if I use that word towards my marriage, it made sense. It motivated me. That if I use that word towards my health, physical or mental, that it would work, that it would make me remember what was important to me this year. And so I take my time and I find the word for the year. And I obviously help my clients find theirs. The end of 2021, all my clients who had already decided that were working with me this year were doing this exercise, and all of my new clients who are starting in January are starting to do this work. We begin to look for one word. Why one? Less is more. Any mind cannot keep control of so many things. So if you want to lose weight, if you want to find a husband, if you want to get promoted, if you want to learn a third language, it's great, but choose one attitude. And I really want to emphasize the attitude. Because should you have a phenomenal, productive year where you actually get to do all the things that you're saying you want to do, that's amazing, but that you fuel them through an attitude. Okay, so I normally don't look for a word like water. I want to drink more water this year, but I look for the attitude behind the drinking of the water that I really want to grow. Because once you do that for a full year, now you've got this ability under your wings that you can use at any given point. So last year, for example, I worked on focused because I can so easily be distracted with so many things. And I really wanted to focus. I was specifically thinking about my business. But if I thought I'm focusing on motherhood, that work, I'm focusing on my marriage, that work, like it worked. And it would remind me that less is more. That's actually what I was working on mostly last year. Less is more. Less is more. Because I am the kind of woman, type A, who wants to do a lot. And then I feel accomplished and exhausted. So I wanted to do less and really find the wealth on doing less, like that I could do so much better if I was doing less. And I'm taking that a step even further this year because my word this year is dedication. I want to fully dedicate myself to the clients I'm serving. I cut down to almost half the clients I served last year, this beginning of year, because I really want to focus on them. And by the time I open my next group, I want to be able to really focus on them. And I want to be dedicated. And I feel that the difference between focus and dedication, it's the ability of having more time in my experience. And I want to dedicate myself to my marriage and to my child, to my physical and mental health. I want to have the time for that. So my word of the years for 2022 is dedication. I want to dedicate myself to all things that matter to me. And whatever I get to do this year, I want it to be 100% in it. Like that is the attitude I want to have towards what I do. That if I'm talking to a client, I want to be 100% dedicated to that client for that hour. That if I'm coaching a group, that's what I want to do. That if I am writing a book, that I am 100% dedicated to writing. So all of that to say, finding one word, it's a great exercise because first, it allows you to reflect on what really matters and what is it you really want this year, which is an exercise on its own. It's like self-growth on its own. You don't actually know what you want until you know. One of the biggest mistakes I see clients before they've worked with me too long and people generally around me make is that they say they don't have what they want, but they have zero clarity on exactly what they want. They might have an idea. I want to be with somebody. I want to have a better job, or I want to have a different job, but they lack the clarity. So this exercise is great because it really makes you focus down onto what is it that I really want to focus on this year? Like, what is the one word out of all the millions of words that there are that will really symbolize what I want to express about myself this year, that I want to grow within myself this year? So I urge you to look for, first and foremost, what you really want. Get clear on that. Journal about it. You know you struggled with last year. So maybe that gives you an idea of what you want to work on. Maybe you know you're good at something and you want to master that this year. What is the word? What is the attitude? So it's less about the word, more about the attitude that would allow you to get to the results that you want. And the word is simply like a photo. You're like, oh yeah, that's where I'm going. That's, that reminds me of it. And then I want you to write this. Once you land on the word, you know it's your word because it resonates with you. It feels good. You're not like still searching for something else. Is it this or is it not? Once you get to your word, you know it's your word because you've landed. You feel that that's it. Like when I got to this year's word, I was like, yeah, that speaks to me. My brain stopped looking for the word. It's like, I know what it is. Before that, I was still searching. I just couldn't put my finger on what I wanted. Once you have your word, ask yourself, who do I need to be when I'm working, when I'm at home, when I'm with my husband or partner, when I'm with my children? Who do I need to be when, fill out the blank, to build on this attitude? And that will guide you nicely, thinking, oh, I've got to be this kind of human. So getting to that clarity, or who do you need to be when you're doing this one thing in this area of your life to be in alignment with the word you've chosen, really guides your process throughout the year in such an easy way. It just kind of reminds you what's important and what your why, the reason behind everything that you're doing. Also, how in one word not only gives you clarity on what you want and gets you to that self-awareness work, it also gives purpose to everything you do throughout the year. You are just so purposeful because like, for example, my goal is to be dedicated. So let's say that I feel that there might be months throughout the year that are slow, that I'm not doing a lot. The type A in me is going to feel so triggered to want to create distraction and come up with something and do something else and do something else. But because I know what I'm working towards, because I know what I'm trying to build, it's going to be a much easier process for me to quiet down the type A who wants to overdo and just tell her like, yes, I see you, but I'm growing my capacity to be dedicated. And that means less is more. That means focus. And that means growing roots and greater connection and progress. And success is going to look different this year than it looked last year because my attitude is growing and evolving and developing. So I hope this makes sense to you. I know my clients really appreciate it. I absolutely love when my clients at the end of the year say, hey, my word was love, and I totally killed it. I love myself more. I love my children more. I found love. Love is great. Or, whatever, like when they come to the end of the year and they say it was perfect. And I'll briefly mention that this year already, as I was saying, my husband had an accident and it was terrifying. And it definitely slowed down my start of the month. All the things that I thought I could do, I couldn't because he needed my care and attention. And I remember the first night he came home from the hospital. He was an hour away. Anyways, long story short, we're going to bed. And I kind of smiled to myself thinking, holy crap, the year's already getting me to work on the thing that I said I would work on. Here I am presented on day 2 of the first month of the year to be having to dedicate myself to my husband because he could do very little on his own. And just having that notion made it so much easier to have to postpone all other things because I was working on my purpose, which was to be dedicated to whatever it is that I was doing at the time. In this case was my husband, my marriage, my husband's health and well-being, my son, because he's 2. He also needs me 24/7. So it really helped me relax, not feel overwhelmed, and feel that I was exactly where I needed to be because that is the thing that I said I was going to work on. And life, as beautiful as life is providing me with the opportunities to work on the things that I can work on. All right, I'm leaving you with that happy note. I hope this makes sense. Please go find your word. If you're having trouble, you know what? Message me. I will help you troubleshoot to get to your word, the word that will make you have 2022 be exactly what you want it to be. Okay. Thank you for listening from my heart to yours. Talk to you next Monday. Bye-bye. Interested in giving life coaching a try? Here's your opportunity to do so in a short period of time. My Reset Your Mindset program is starting in January of 2022. This is an intimate group coaching program that combines life coaching calls and video training. You receive weekly lessons through video, and you receive weekly support through Zoom calls with me. This time around, I'm also gifting participants with lifetime access to Detox the Mind online course, a course that emphasizes on helping you create new neurological connections so that you have a happier mind and healthier habits. You can grab your spot by going into the show notes and signing up. We meet for 12 consecutive weeks on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this program focuses on 3 main points: creating awareness, setting up boundaries, increasing your confidence. The Reset Your Mindset formula helps you with making decisions with ease, set clear boundaries without drama or guilt, stopping the hamster wheel that keeps you in overthinking mode, switching the mean inner voice for one of confidence and compassion. You will let go of unattainable expectations, and you will be at ease with who you are. Get ready to say goodbye to a constant list of comparisons, to all of the thinking that leads to worry and overwhelm. You will begin to prioritize yourself, and you will feel finally connected to you and to others at a very deep level. 12 coaching calls once a week, 12 weeks, 12 mindset videos, plus the bonus of a lifetime access to bestseller course, Detox the Mind. If this calls your name, if you have been curious about working with me, if you want to say goodbye to your limiting beliefs, understand their root cause, and change them for once and for all so that you can step into that better version of you, anxious-free, confident, clear on what you want and who you are, I invite you to participate. There are only 12 spots available. First come, first served. See you inside.